got to tell you, I was just mentioning back there to some of the representatives from Habitat for Humanity that I've had a lot of high points in my 18 months on the job, but the two emotional high points of my year and a half in service, one was speaking to Gold Star mothers at an event in Long Beach. These are mothers who have lost sons or daughters in battle. And if you ever go to a Gold Star meeting, make sure you bring 2 boxes of Kleenex with you, because the story. The other, on a much higher note, emotionally, was to go to, when was that? October last year? Yeah. October in Santa Clarita to open up ribbon cutting, the second phase of 24, 28 new housing units for veterans. These, so you're lucky. We've got 5 of these REN, R-E-N, residential enriched neighborhoods, and we'll get around in a second to what makes it enriched. For veterans that probably would not have been able to scrap together the down payment to get a house on the market, so we use a combination of Prop 41, VHHP, funds administered through the department. So we're able at these ceremonies to give each veteran family, and a lot of them have their kids with them, the key to their home. These are homes that were built not only with, not taxpayer money, this is bond money. And these are self-liquidating bonds that when the veterans pay off their homes, it retires the debt. The program's been around for 95 years. We've gone to the ballot 27 times since 1926. In every one of those 27 times, the voters in California overwhelmingly approved the bond. Never once had to use a taxpayer dollar. We have the lowest foreclosure rate of any entity in the entire United States. And I'm going to ask you a Jeopardy question. How many California families got their house with a mortgage from my agency? Anybody want to hazard a guess? 423,000 families. Okay, so never realized when I took the job that I would be one of the largest mortgage brokers. So, oh, so sorry. Kill that. So we do help. But we do a number of things in the department besides. Let me just talk about housing for a second. A lot of people need housing. In fact, every unit needs housing. So our agency helps with people. What's in the headlines these days? Homeless veterans. California has more veterans than any state in the nation. 1.7, almost 1.8 million. And however you break that number down, we have more of it than any other. We have more female vets than any other state, more Latino veterans, more African American veterans, more LGBT veterans, more Native American veterans than any other state, right? And unfortunately, more homeless veterans. We have 10% of the nation's vets, 25% of the nation's homeless vets. They're almost all in LA County. I wonder why, right? So, homelessness. We have programs in place that if a veteran comes into picks up 911, 211, needs a place, we can have a roof over that veteran's house and give him dinner, or her, that night. I say or her because if I asked you all to close your eyes and if I asked you to picture a veteran and I said a single person with no kids, you'd probably all think of a Vietnam era veteran, male, in his late 50s, 60s, right? Not so much anymore. If I ask you to picture a very, very large and growing dynamic, it's now African American women with 2 kids. These are our homeless vets. So we have how emergent, let's call that emergency housing. We can put a roof over your head that night. Then we have transitional housing. This is for people who need a place to stay, veterans, who need a place to stay while they sober up. They were kicked to the gutter, or they kicked themselves to the gutter, drugs, alcohol, what have you. And we will put a roof over their head in transitional housing as long as they can make progress to getting their life back together. Then we have supportive housing, and this is where our REMs come in. Supportive housing is people that cannot get home on the open market with standard down payments, but who need wraparound services to help them keep their job. They might need job training, on-the-job training, apprenticeship training, financial literacy training. They might need help with mental health issues, without which they would spiral down.
Yeah.
And you know what happens? 1/3 of all the people in jails or in emergency rooms really belong in a mental health office, getting some help. Move up beyond supportive housing, then we have the program I just described. 423,000 families got their mortgage on the open market. We have competitive rates with low foreclosure rates. And then let's say somebody in their 60s, 70s, or older is alone in this world and destitute. We have veterans' homes. And where is one of the nicest one of them? Yountville and Lancaster.
That's right.
Lancaster, a 60-bed facility for people with no one else in this world to take care of them. So that's what my agency does. And then finally, we run state cemeteries, which you might call the domicile of last resort. No puns or humor intended, except that it is a dignified place. And I think one of the reasons that young people go into military service and are confident of doing so is knowing that the nation will take care of them when they come back. And one of the ways of showing that are those beautiful veteran cemeteries with flags on the 4th of July and wreaths at Christmas time or holiday time. Okay? So it's a continuum that we offer, and we're proud to be able to do so many of those activities in your neck of the woods.